Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. So guys, in today's video we'll see how we can create declarative CI/CD pipeline in Jenkins for Maven based application. Today we'll build, test and deploy Bookstore application using Jenkins CI/CD pipeline step by step. So let's start our today's video. Okay, so in today's video we'll see what are the various build tool and we'll understand little bit about build tools. Then we'll study about what is Maven and how we can install Maven. Then we'll see how we can build, test and package a sample application using Maven. So Maven is basically one of the build tool so that we'll use here in our today's example. And then we'll see how we can deploy that sample application, and post completion of that we'll see how we can practically do everything step by step. So let's start with the things firstly with build tool. So guys, what is build tool? So build, it is very important to understand what build tool actually is. So build tools are commonly known as programs that automate the process of building an executable application from source code. So the code that we get from developer is basically the source code, but that code we cannot deploy to servers, and the code that we can deploy to server or where we have our application. So firstly we need to build that source code. So these tools are mainly used in order to build that source code and give a particular product after building. So this building process includes various activities including compiling, linking and packaging of code into an executable form, and this executable form we can deploy to our server or we can deploy to a particular machine so that we can access our application. We cannot directly access anything as a source code. So there are multiple build tools available in market. So there are few examples we can have, like Apache Ant, Apache Maven, Gradle, and there are other build tools also available in market. So we choose what build tool is required for our source code. It basically depends on what kind of source code you are having and it is written in which language. According to that we select a particular build tool. So in our today's example, we are going to use Apache Maven as a build tool because our source code is written in Java. So we'll basically use this particular build tool in our today's example. Okay, so now let's understand what Maven is. So Maven is one of the build tool that is based on POM. POM is basically a project object model. It mainly used for Java based project, and developers provide us source code and also the test cases written along with that source code with a file that is pom.xml. So this is basically provided from developer side. This file is having everything inside it. Everything is written in this particular pom.xml file, like which tool is used for which purpose. Like we can have certain tool for test cases, we can have certain tool for code review, code coverage. So everything is defined here in this pom.xml, and the particular dependency will get download whenever we'll use Maven on this pom.xml file. So Maven, basically what Mavens do, Maven is a software that is provided from Apache side. So this Maven basically reads pom.xml file and resolve the dependencies of the project. So this pom.xml basically having everything inside it. So Maven will firstly see that okay, in this source code what all things are required in order to build this source code. So firstly Maven will get download it from your Maven central portal, and then it will install all the dependencies on your local machine. So Maven validate if the dependencies are available locally or not. Firstly, it will validate whether the dependencies are there on the same machine where we are using this Maven or not. If it is not available, then firstly it will download it from the internet, and then it will use it for future use. So whatever we define in the Maven configuration, all those dependencies will get download if it is not available on the local machine. So first time whenever we execute Maven commands on a machine, then it will get download those dependencies according to pom.xml, and then from next time it will firstly check on machine. If dependency is available, it will not get download, but if it is unavailable, then it will get it download from using that Maven central portal. So Maven actually a tool which basically having certain commands, so that we'll discuss later in our slides what all commands we'll use in order to build our source code. So software build process. So software build process is having multiple phases during this particular process. So different tool is getting used for each phase, and which tool is used for which phase, everything is defined in your pom.xml file. So we'll build one sample application also, and following tools will be used. They may be used or they may not be used, but this is basically a format which we basically use in order to create this pom.xml file, because sometimes the tool may get differ, that depend upon that what is the requirement, and there are some tools that are old, some tools are new. So these tools will get changed, but this particular format will remain as it is. So for compilation, there may be a use of GCC compiler. For code review, previously in old examples we were using PMD, but in this case there are SonarQube that is getting used, because this is the tool that is very commonly used nowadays. So PMD was a programming mistake detector that were used in old builds, but in recent builds everyone is getting used this SonarQube. And test cases are written in JUnit. For test case reports, we are using Surefire as a dependency, or you can say a tool. And for code coverage, in our source code we are seeing that code coverage is written for Cobertura. And packaging, once we'll done everything and we'll package our application, so our source code will get converted to build, and that build will be just like an application.war file. So this is basically the build that will get generated once we are done with the compilation and testing of the code. Okay, so in our today's example, we'll use this master slave architecture. So we'll little bit understand what this master slave is. If you want to get it in detail, then I have created separate video in my Jenkins playlist. So just go there. I have given complete detail of what master and what slave is. I have given scenarios with Linux also, with Windows also, and what all strategies that we can use in Linux, and what are the methods, various methods we can use in case of Windows. Everything I have given detailed explanation along with examples. So those who are new, they can check it there, and those who are aware about it, so just let a little bit information about those, because I'm keeping in mind those people who are new. So I'll give a brief introduction. So what master is basically, so there will be two machine, one is master, one is slave. So master is the machine where we'll install Jenkins, and slave will be the machine where we'll do everything related to build. So why we use this master slave architecture? In case of one or two machine, it is okay, because if there are less users, then it is fine, everything can be done on master machine. But when we have a number of user, number of teams, then everything if we'll do on master, and suppose if master get down, then every team work will get stuck. So better to separate these slaves from master and assign slave to teams, so that they can work on slave machine rather on master, in order to get it overburdened. Okay, so we don't want to get it overburdened, we want to get it avoid any kind of overburden, because master is the main heartbeat of this whole architecture. So we'll keep master separate and we'll do everything on slave. So on master, what we'll do, we'll install Java and Jenkins, and master can be either a Linux or Windows machine, and it basically execute builds to slave machine. It will not execute anything on itself, and it will monitor your slave machine, and it will also display build results to Jenkins console. And what is slave? In slave, in both cases we are using Linux as a machine, or you can say virtual machine. So master will be installed on Linux and slave will be also a Linux machine. So here Java is the prerequisite. So Java has to be there on any machine if you want to install Jenkins, or if you don't want to install Jenkins, you want to make it slave, then you need Java over there. So Java is the main prerequisite. And slave can also be a Linux machine or Windows machine. It listens to master machine's instruction and it execute all instructions that are given by master machine. So this is a little bit information about what master slave architecture is. Okay, so now let's understand what is there in software code that is provided by developer side. So we are talking about Java code. So this is an application that is written in Java. So there will be a source folder that is having pom.xml file inside it. And inside the source folder, we further have two folders. One is main folder, one is test folder. So main folder basically contains Java source code, and test folder contains test cases. So these are the snippets that I took from source code. So here we have source folder. inside this source folder we have main folder and test folder. Okay, so if we'll see our previous slide, so in this slide we are seeing this pom.xml file here, and this pom.xml file is the file which is getting used when we'll execute maven command. Source folder is having main folder and test folder, and main folder basically having java source code and test folder is having test cases inside it. Okay, so this is basically our pom.xml. So we can see how different stages tools are declared in this pom.xml. So as you can see that there is a block for PMD. This is for programming mistake detector. So this is defined. So from here we can identify, okay, when we'll create our pipeline, so what are all the requirement that is required in order to build this source code. So Maven actually read out this file completely from top to end and find out, okay, what all dependencies are required in order to build this source code, and then Maven will get it download from Maven Central. So here it is seeing, okay, I need a Maven PMD plugin in order to build this code. Okay, after that, when Maven looked this file, Maven found out, okay, for testing it is defined JUnit. Okay, so I need to download JUnit plugin for it. And for reporting, Maven is looking, okay, it is surefire-report plugin. Okay, I'll download for there. For reporting also I need to get it download from Maven Central. And for what we can say, this is the Cobertura Maven plugin. So for next dependency, this also need to get download from internet. So Maven will get download all these dependencies in order to build the source code. Okay, so now let's understand that what Maven commands will use in order to execute so that our source code will get converted into a build. So we firstly need to execute a command mvn compile. So this command what basically do, they'll create a new folder, a target slash classes. So initially we don't have any target folder. So when we'll execute this command, firstly a target folder will get created, and then it will be having classes folder inside it, and this classes folder is basically having dot class files. After compilation, these types of files we get when we have Java code, and when we'll use ambient test command, it will generate another folder under target directory, that is surefire-reports folder, that will contain our test case reports related to the source code. And ambient package is basically the command that will generate a war file, which is basically the file that we usually deploy to our Tomcat server or wherever we want to get it deploy. So this is basically the build that will get used, and that will give us a console of our application. Okay, so this is a pipeline that we'll use in today's example. So I think I have explained these pipelines in my previous demos also, but I'll explain this again from starting, because those who are new, so there may be something new for them. So I'll take consideration of everyone. So I'll create this pipeline from starting. So let's understand what this pipeline basically is. So in this pipeline, firstly we have agent. So I'll use a sample pipeline that is there in Jenkins already. So we'll use that sample pipeline and we'll modify according to our requirement. So firstly, we'll define an agent. So what this agent is, this is the slave machine on which we want to execute the instruction. And this label is the label. Once we'll create master slave architecture, then we'll give the same label name to the slave machine, so that all the instructions that we want to get execute, all of them should get execute on slave machine rather on the master machine. After this pipeline agent, we have this stages block here, and inside this stages block we have multiple stage. Once all stage are done, we'll close this stages block. So we'll be firstly having this checkout code stage. So this stage what we'll do, we'll firstly check out the code to our slave machine. So this will be basically the repository from where we'll check out the code, and once the checkout is done, then we'll install Maven on the slave machine. And these are the command in order to get Maven start. So it is nothing, just a tar, and then we need to untar this file in order to get Apache Maven install. And this checkout step appears to be a big step and appears to be very complex. So I'll show you how we can create this complete command. There is nothing, it's an easy pipeline syntax available in Jenkins documentation itself. So we'll create it from there, and once checkout is done, once install Maven is done, then we'll use the compilation of sample application. So we'll firstly use ambient compile command, and one thing that needs to be remembered is that we can execute Maven command only from the same directory where we have pom.xml file. So in our example, I'll create a test project in Jenkins and I'll create slave on /tmp. So this is basically the directory on which our source code will get cloned. So /tmp workspace test, and here we'll having pom.xml. That's why I need to give this dir block. So what dir block says, it says that you are at any directory, no need to worry. If we'll place dir block here, then I'll execute everything from this dir block, because I want everything to get execute from this directory. So every time I don't want to do cd, that's why I'm placing this dir block, so that all commands will get execute from the same directory, and I don't have to worry that which path I am currently now. I just want to sit on a single path, and then I want to get execute all command. So firstly, in order to compile its sample application, we need to sit over there, and then we need to execute Maven compilation command, that is Maven mbn compile. And for testing sample application, similar step we need to do, and only the difference is that we'll use the command mvn test rather mvn compile. So our code is now tested. Post completion of that, we need to package our sample application. So there will be only change in the command, that is ambient package. So this will create a package, basically the war that we can either deploy on our Tomcat server, but in our today's example, we'll not install it on Tomcat server. Rather, we'll use jetty command in order to get that application run on that slave, and we'll access that application using the IP of that particular machine. So next step is basically deployment of application. So what we'll do in this step, that we need to run a command. So that's a Maven jetty command. Maven jetty command is a command, if we'll run it, then it will get execute on the console and the process will get start. But one thing we need to be very sure, that that process should not get terminate, because if that process get terminate, then our application will get shut down. So what I did here, I used just a run user command, because I want to get this command to get execute with this particular cloud admin user. So this is the user which I have created on my Linux machine. So whenever we execute anything from Jenkins, then all the commands get execute using Jenkins user. But I don't want to get it execute using Jenkins user, because if you'll use it Jenkins user, as Jenkins user is not there on your machine, so that command will not work. So what you need to do, firstly you need to make Jenkins user as a sudoers entry, you need to add it over there, and you need to run this particular command with the user. So you need to use a command run user as a sudo, then -u the username that is there on your machine, and then you need to use this nohub command. So what is this nohub command? Nohub command is a command that this command will get execute, and if you'll cross the terminal or if you'll close the terminal, then also this command will get execute in the backend, because we want that application to run every time. If we signed it out from the Linux machine, then also it should work. But if you'll not use nohub, whenever you'll terminate the session, everything will get shut down. So we have used this command, and after that I have just put this redirector operator here to output.log, so that all the log related to this should go to this file. And 2 greater than %1 means that this output should not be visible on console, and this ampersand in the end I have used because I want to get is execute everything in the backend. So this is a very big command. I just worked on this command for a 1 or 2 days, then only I was able to get it successfully execute. So let me explain it one more time, that we want to run this command with a particular user. So we have used run user -u cloud admin, and nohub is basically used so that this command should get run in the backend. If we'll exit from the putty also, then this will get execute in the backend, and we don't want its console output to be visible on Jenkins. So we have used this output.log 2 greater than %1, so that log should get redirect to this file but not visible on console, and everything should get executed in backend. So we have used this ampersand operator. After that I have used this sleep command, because when we execute this command, Then in order to make everything up, because this is having backend and front end related to it, so to get front end get up, it takes a time of around 2 minutes. So that's why I have used this sleep function here. So this is a predefined function available in Jenkins library. So sleep 120 means 60 plus 60, so it's in seconds. 120 seconds mean we want, when we execute this command, then it should wait for 2 minutes, and then only our command should get, or our what we can say, Jenkins command should get complete after this, because we don't want to get delay. If you'll not use this sleep command, then when you'll try to access the application, it will not be available, because it takes around 2 minutes of time in everything to get set up in the back end and front end. So I have used this sleep method so that there should be no delay in the application. Okay, and this application is accessible on 8080 port. I have already opened that port on our cloud machine. So this is basically our bookstore application, and this is the home page of our bookstore application. So this application is getting logged in with two users. If we'll use admin as a username and admin as a password, then this will give us admin right, as it is written here also, that login as admin to have full access. Login with any other user, have read only access. For all users, password will remain the same as username. So if we'll log in with admin, then it will give us admin privilege. And once we'll inside this application, then we have this new product button enable for admin. Once we'll click on this new product button, then we can add any new book here. Just like we can enter sample test papers, we can give some price, stock also, availability, and category of this particular book, and then we can save it. So once we have saved it, we can log it out, and then we can use with any user that is a non-admin user basically. And once we'll inside it, then you can see here that this non new product button is disabled, because we are not with admin. This is only for admin. And now if we'll search the same book that we have entered, like sample test papers, and if we'll search, then we are successfully able to get it searched. So it means it has been added to the database. So this is the application that we are going to use in our today's example, and we are done with theory part, and now we'll do it everything practically. Okay guys, so this is our Jenkins dashboard. So I have installed this Jenkins already. So those who don't know how to install Jenkins on a Linux machine, so I have created separate video in Jenkins playlist. So just go through that. So today I have created two machines on Azure cloud. One is for Jenkins master, one is for slave. So these are two Linux machines. So this is basically our Jenkins master. Now we'll add the second machine as a slave to this Jenkins. So let's see how we can create it. So we can go to manage Jenkins, and here we can go to nodes. Here we can click on new node. We can give any name to the node. So let's give it as test slave permanent agent create. Okay, and next we need to give a remote root directory. So any directory that you want to give for your slave machine, where all the data related to Jenkins should get create, so you can give that directory here. I can go with /tmp, so it's okay. And this is the label that we were using in our pipeline, so I'm giving it as test slave. So this will use in our pipeline. Okay, and then we can use this option, only build jobs with label expression matching this node, because we want, whenever we'll provide this label only in pipeline, then only this particular agent should get used. And launch agent by connecting it to controller, this option is for Windows machine. We want to make Linux machine as slave, we need to use launch agent via SSH. So firstly we need to give host IP here. So this is our slave IP, we can copy it here and we can place it here. And credential, as of now there is no credential, so we can click on add Jenkins, and here we can give username and password of the machine that we are using. So I'm giving it, I have created this cloud admin user for the machine, so I'm using the same. Okay, I'm giving the password. So it will be the same password of the machine, means the credential that I'm using for logging to that machine. Okay, and then we'll click on add. So now this credential is created. We can select this credential, and here in host key verification strategy we can use the easiest method, that is non-verifying verification strategy, and keep this agent online as much as possible, and everything should remain same. We can click on save. So now we have saved it, and here we are seeing that it is launching, agent is launching. So it is launched and it is connected because we are not seeing any cross mark. So this test slave is connected, and this is the label name of that slave machine. So now master slave architecture has been created. This basically built-in node is our master where Jenkins is installed, and this is the machine where we'll download our sample application related code, then we'll build it, test it, and then we'll run our application here. So one thing is done as a prerequisite to make it master slave. Second thing is that we need to go to slave machine, and here in this slave machine what we'll need to do, we need to make Jenkins as a sudoers user first. So what we'll need to do, we need to make entry in sudoers file. So firstly give permission to that file, then we'll use that file to make Jenkins entry. Okay, so with the help of sudo command we have changed permission of this sudoers file. So 755 is basically the permission that is required. 7 is for owner, and 5 is for group, and 5 is for other. So basically it's a 4 to 1 structure here. 4 is for read, 2 is for write, 1 is for execute. So for owner I have given all permissions 7, 4 to 1, 4 plus 2 plus 1, and for group and others I have given 4 plus 1. Only read and execute permission I'm giving, I'm not giving write permission. So now we'll edit this file and make Jenkins entry here. Okay, so now we are inside this file. I have used VI editor in order to open this file. Now I'll edit it going to insert mode. Okay, so now I'll make Jenkins entry here. So this is the entry that we need to make it here, so that no password is getting asking for Jenkins user, and it should be provided as a sudo access. So what I need to do in order to achieve these things, I need to make Jenkins space all equals to in bracket all and no passwd colon all. Okay, now I'll save it with wq colon. Now our prerequisites are done because Java is already installed on this machine. We have make Jenkins entry, and this machine is slave to the master machine. So now we'll create our pipeline here. So what we'll do, we'll go to dashboard, and here we'll click on new item. We'll give any project name. So let's give it as test. Then we'll select pipeline as a project, and then we'll click on OK. Okay, so now we are inside test project. So we don't need to do any setting, just scroll down till end. Here we are having pipeline script. So in try sample pipeline, we'll click on hello world. So this is a sample pipeline that Jenkins provide, and we'll use this pipeline and then we'll create our complete pipeline. So just copy this pipeline on one of the notepad, paste it here, and we'll edit this file here. Okay, so firstly the file that we were creating, or we were seeing in our slides, so there we were having agent. So let's declare agent first. So just close this brace and put label of your Jenkins slave machine. So label, single quote, and the label name. So we have created test slave. So agent section is done. Now everything will get executed on this label. And previously it was agent any. If we don't make any change, it will execute everything on master, but we don't want it. We want to get it execute on slave, so we need to define agent here. Okay, so one thing is done. Now we are having stages, then we have stage. Now we need to create stage. So we can see that there is one brace for pipeline, one brace for stages. One brace started for pipeline, one for stages, and these two braces we don't need to get it touch because these two are related to pipeline stages. Inside it we have stage. So what we'll do, we'll copy this stage and we'll paste it for 6-7 times, whatever stages we need. 1, 2, okay, and then 3, then 4, and then 5. Okay, so our very first stage will be checkout code. And the steps that we need to use, that I'll let you know how we can create that step. So here we have complete command, so we'll just paste it, but here we'll need some instruction, so that I'll copy and I'll paste it here. So first stage is checkout code, and then we have Maven build tool stage, then we have compilation of sample application. So compile sample application. Okay, then we have next is testing of sample application. So test sample application. Then we have package sample application. Package sample application. And last we have deploy sample application. So deploy sample application. So in this way we have created our stage, but commands not yet placed now. So we'll place it here in few seconds. So I'm just removing this command that is previously written. I'm also removing the command previously written here in all steps. Okay. So this is done. So now how we'll find our application? So we just need to type here github and then bookstore hyphen example. So here this link, bookstore app starter for Vadin, we can click on it. Okay, so this is the code that I have tested, so it is working, so we can use it for our example. So what we need to do, we need to just click on code and we need to copy it. Okay, and we can place it on our notepad somewhere in the end. Okay, so this is a public repository, so don't need any credential, and the branch that we are seeing here is a v24 branch, so we can use it. Now the good thing that we need to see here, that how we can generate syntax. So if you'll scroll it down a little bit, you have this pipeline syntax link here. Click on it. Okay, so this is the snippet generator here. So we need to clone our code firstly. So there is a checkout step mentioned here. Click on this checkout step, and this is a git step, so we need it. Repository, we can give the same repository here, and credential we use if it is a private repository, but we don't have any private repository, so it's a public repository, so no need of credential here. And then the branch, so it is showing master branch here, but we have branch here as v24 branch, so we'll use the same here. Wait, yes, so it's a small v or caps v, it's a small v24, so we'll save it as same v24. And next, everything we don't need to do, just click on snippet generator, copy this complete command and paste it here after steps. So this is the complete thing that we were seeing in our slide. So now checkout is done. We want this install Maven build tool. So the command, I am having that pipeline created here. So in the install Maven build tool, we just need to use these two steps. So these are the command. So we'll copy it from here, because whenever you want to create any pipeline and command, you firstly need to find out the command and just use this sh here and then this single quote. Okay, so every command will go with this single quote starting, single quote ended, and sh is basically the shell that we need to give, as it's a Linux. If it is a Windows one, we need to use here bat. So similarly, we need to use command for compile sample application. So here we need to provide this dir block also, because we want to get this execute from dir itself. So copy and paste it here. So this is for ambient compile. Similar command will come for test sample application. So we need to use this dir block along with this test, copy and then paste in test section, control V. And in the packaging section, you are also having similar command, just only ambient test will change to ambient package. So we'll copy from dir and copy it and we'll paste it here, sorry, for packaging the sample application. And the last command is for deploying the sample application, that also need to get execute from the same directory, then only it will work. So we'll copy it and then we'll paste it here in steps. Okay, so now we can see that our complete pipeline is ready. We can just copy this pipeline from here, or rather what we'll do it step by step. Okay, so let's do the first thing. We'll complete copy it here. Okay, firstly let's do what we just want to do, the checkout of the code and install Maven build tool. So what we'll do, we'll go here in our sample pipeline, we'll remove it, we'll select it, remove it and paste it here. So it will execute only two stages. And here what we'll do, because in the end we need to place two braces, so we'll place two braces in the end and then we'll click on save. And let's test whether our text, the pipeline that we created, syntactically it is correct or not. So we'll click on this build now button. So looks like our syntax is proper and it is not giving any error. So as of now it is checking out code. And second, install Maven build tool. So both are green, so it means it had installed everything related to Maven, and checkout is also done. So we can check it from console output that things are done properly or not. So here if we'll scroll it down till end, so it is downloading the tar, then it is untarring this tar, and it is success. So we can also check it. We can go to our slave machine, we can go to /tmp because we have given that directory here, and there we have given workspace. Inside this workspace we have given test project. So here if we'll do ls-lrth, so here you are seeing that that code get cloned here. Along with that, Maven is here with tar, and then it got untarred also. So in this source code we are seeing this src folder that I discussed in my slide. So if we'll go this src folder here, let's see what inside this folder is. So here we have main folder and test folder. If we'll go to main folder, then we are having basically these things related to Java. And if we'll go to our test folder, then we are having things related to, it is written Java, but these are basically the test cases that we are having inside it. So org, and there's a directory structure. So inside this we are basically having that things related to test cases. So we don't need to worry because we just want to get this process automate, and everything is getting provided from developer side. So, and one more thing we want, that where is our pom.xml file is placed. So here we are seeing this pom.xml file. That's why I have given dir as temp workspace test here. If you can see temp workspace test, because pom.xml is available here and we need to execute every command from this to sit at this directory. But when we logged in here, we were at home directory of this particular user, which is a by default location whenever we log in. So that's why this particular directory we need to give in our pipeline, so that all commands should get execute from this directory rather to the home directory. So our checkout is done, installation of Maven build tool is done. Now let's compile our sample application. So just copy this stage and go to our test job, go to configure, and here just place another stage. So leave this last two braces as it is and just place that stage here. So now compile sample application is placed here. We can click on, there is some problem looks like. Okay, dir is closed. And steps is closed, and there is one more brace. Looks like we copied one less brace. There are 1, 2, 3 open, and there are 2 closed. So this is the issue. So let's make it correct. We'll place one more brace here. Yeah, now looks like it is good. Click on save and we can click on build now. Okay, so now it is compiling our sample application. So we can go to console output and see what it is doing. Now you are seeing that it is downloading from repo Maven. So these are the dependencies that it is getting download from there, because now Maven is reading this particular pom.xml file and finding out that what all dependencies are basically required in order to build this sample application. So now it is downloading all the dependencies related to the source code. So it is downloading, and it is also unpacking the things. So this might take some time. So very first time when you'll execute this command, so it get download from there, but from second time when you'll execute this command, then it will not get it download every time. And now if you scroll it down, then there was something we were seeing. Okay, so here we were seeing that it is getting download all the artifacts and everything Maven related, what all plugins are required there. And once it is getting download, then let's see what message it prints over here. It is saying like temp workspace test. It has created the target folder and then it has created classes. Inside that we are having that dot class files which are basically the output of your compilation, so that we can check from this file also. So here if we'll do ls-lrth, so previously you were seeing there were no target folder here. So if we'll do ls-lrth, now you are seeing that it is giving the target folder here. So if we'll go inside this target folder, so there we'll see one more folder, that is classes folder. So this is the classes folder and these all are the dependencies that it get download. So inside this classes folder we have dot class files related to our application. So now we'll go with the next stage, and here, sorry, we are inside it, and here under target, let be here so that we can see what next folder it will create in testing. So here you are seeing the classes folder, but once you will run test, then you will see here surefire-reports folder, which are basically the test case reports that has been generated. So what we'll do, we'll copy our stage here, copy it here, and then we'll go to test and configure, and we'll add one more stage here. So we'll keep this last two braces as it is, and we'll place new stage here, and one more brace we need to place here because that is missing in that notepad. Okay, so now we are done. We can save it, and now we can again do build now. So what it is doing, that checkout is green, installation is green, and now you'll see that this took 56 seconds last time. So now let's see what it took. It took only 8 seconds this time, because this time it will not get download dependencies related to compilation. It will only download dependencies related to test. So 56 seconds is now reduced to 8 seconds. So let's go to our console output, and here we can see that it also downloaded certain things related to our test, where we can see that surefire plugin is getting download that is required in order to perform the test. So here you can see test has been performed. There were total 3 test cases provided. There is no failure, no error, no skipped. Total run 3, failure 0, error skipped, and it's a success. So now we'll go to our machine, and here if we'll go to the same directory under target, if we'll do ls, then you are seeing that surefire-reports had been generated. So this folder is mainly having reports related to your test. So now looks like everything is done. We can go with the packaging section. So we can copy this stage. Okay, we can go to test, we can go to configure, and we can go to keeping these 2 braces as it is, and here we can place our next stage along with one more brace. Okay, so looks like we are done for packaging of sample application also. We can save it, we can build now. So we'll see that test application took 18 seconds last time. So let's see how much time it will take. It will take less because dependencies are already there on that machine now. So let's see how much time it will take. Okay, previously it took 18 seconds, now it took only 10 seconds. So because dependencies are there, now it is downloading dependencies related to packaging of this application. So let's see what it is doing. Now you can see it is downloading dependencies related to packaging, and once that is done, here we can see that under temp work test source main web app, it has used this, and it has created a war file under target with this bookstore example.war. We can see here also if we'll do an ls. So here you can see this war. This is basically the war that usually we deploy to a Tomcat server, but in today's example we are having some different scenarios, so we'll not use it over there because that is only having backend. So we need to get its front end get enabled so that we can see the UI of our application. So we need to use the JT run command. So final stage we'll copy from here, copy it and paste it here. Sorry, we can go to test, we can go to configure, and here we can go to down, leave this last two braces as it is and put that stage here. Okay, so every stage is having one open, one open, one open. So here one open, sorry, close, one second close, one close is remaining, so we'll close one more brace. Okay, so now deploy sample application is also placed here. We can save it and then we can do a build now. So till packaging of the application we have seen. So this step is basically the step that will run our application, because that war is only having the backend. So if we'll deploy it on its server, then that will not get the access to our bookstore application or bookstore application console. So we need to get front end also enabled, so we need to use jetty command. So how we need to run this command, where this war needs to be placed, so everything is cleared by developer. So according to them we create the command and we just automate the process. We don't need to get worry about application, what it is doing and how it is getting created. So we are just here in order to automate the complete process from build to deployment. So it will take some time because I have set it a time of 120 seconds, so it will take around 2 minutes time. So here you are seeing that command get rain, and after that it is coming to another command, and I have redirected its output to output.log, which is not getting visible here because I don't want to get it shown all the things here. I just want that process should get run in the backends. That's why I have run this no hub command. So its sleep 120 is as of now working, so that's why it is taking a halt of 2 minutes. So we can go to pipeline. As of now we are having 53 seconds, so it will take around 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes 10 seconds or maybe 2 minutes 20 seconds. So let's wait for that, and then we'll access our application and we'll see whether that application is working or not. So that we'll see. So wait for one more minute. So looks like only 30 seconds remaining. So guys, in this way we can create our CI/CD pipeline. So anybody who is seeing this video, you can also create videos related to these kinds of pipeline by yourself, because this code appears to be complex but it is not that much complex. Anybody can easily access these kinds of pipeline, and you can also set up your own demo by just placing Jenkins. You can install Jenkins. There are multiple ways to install Jenkins. If you have Windows machine, you can install it with the help of war or with the help of exe, and if you are having Linux machine, then you can install it and you can have some kind of hands-on to these kinds of CI/CD pipelines. And it is not that much complex, and examples are available. So usually I found it some useful examples on internet, and I shared it because application piece is getting provided by developers, and we are not getting bothered about application. We are bothered about the automation of the process from build to deployment. So as of now we can see that pipeline is successfully executed. We can see the output also. So here we can see success message here. Sleep worked as it is, as we were looking for its working. Now how we can access that application? We need to go to slave machine IP, and then we need to access on 8080 port. Let's see whether it works or not. So yes, application is working, and now we need to get logged in with admin user and admin password. So we are inside it, and here we are having this new product option. Okay, here we can give product name, sample test paper, amount we can give 10, anything you can give here, and stock we can give 1. Coming, you can make either coming available, so these are option available. We can select categories as bestsellers, and then we can click on save. And if we get logged out, okay, and if we get logged in with any user, and then here we can see that new product is disabled here, and if we'll search sample test papers here, so we can see that sample test papers €10 availability and 1 stock count with bestsellers. So this was a very good example I found out internet, so I just shared it in my demo. In the same way, you can also use these kinds of pipeline, you can also use these kinds of sample application. So guys, I'm done with my today video, and I hope you like this video. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel, please like this video, and I'll see you in my next video.